So my fitness journey over the last 30 or 40 years of my life started when I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1982. It was then I began to think about getting in shape before I left for military service. I had stumbled into a bodybuilding gym in Fairfield and decided that's where I wanted to get ready to join the Marine Corps. So I spent the summer before I left for the Marine Corps lifting weights and doing whatever those guys did in the gym down there. I found out that that was probably not the best preparation. I showed up at the Marine Corps boot camp probably with 20 pounds of muscle that was very difficult to carry around and run and carry a backpack. I could lift a lot of weight, but I couldn't do some of the things they were wanting me to do with all that extra muscle. So that began a process of me learning to change in ways that I needed to in order to get the job done I was being asked to do. So from there it went from training in a military style environment, doing a variety of exercises, everything from push-ups to climbing ropes to hauling packs and carrying rifles and crossing rivers and everything involved in sort of a military style exercise program. And that lasted me for the next 6 years of my life. From there I left the Marine Corps, was a police officer for a short amount of time. Then I joined the Coast Guard and then I did search and rescue for the next 12 years of my life. What was interesting about that was their heavy emphasis was on water performance, swimming, things on the beach, dragging people across sand, carrying stokes and litters. And so that was a different kind of fitness altogether. So I started working out on a Coast Guard beach and doing those kinds of exercises. It was in 1997 that I decided to leave the Coast Guard, join the reserve, and go into the seminary program and start training for ministry. And while I was training in ministry, I stayed in the Coast Guard Reserve and continued to exercise in PT, both running and lifting and doing those kinds of exercises with the military environment or on a military gym or something along those lines. From then it's kind of switched to my exercising on my own and exercising in my own gym or wherever I might be living at the time, whether it was a YMCA, a fitness facility, or some other facility like that. And I sort of began to craft my own fitness based on what I'd done in the past. And when I moved back to Ohio in 2006, here to Cincinnati area, that would have been 2003, I joined the YMCA and was working out there for 5, 6, 7 years every day, pretty much on my own, just by myself, creating my own routines, asking my brother who is into fitness what he might recommend. And I actually kind of got bored with that. After years of doing treadmills and ellipticals and weight machines, I just really got so bored. I just needed something different. So the next thing I added in my fitness journey was running. I hadn't done a whole lot of distance running up to that point. So in 2010, I started training for my first marathon. And at first I did it to try to help me with my fitness. I thought this was a component of my fitness I hadn't really focused on. I had done a lot of weights and those kinds of things, but I hadn't done anything distance-wise or cardio, and I started training for a marathon. So in 2010, I ran my very first marathon, and I've done 6 full marathons since then and several half marathons. And I continue today running. It's something I enjoy doing. I'm not real fast, but I enjoy doing it, and it feels like I've accomplished something. Then in 2013 or 2012, I decided to make a change from the YMCA, try something different. So after all those years working out at the Y and in a family environment, I asked my brother Matt, where do you think I might go next with working out? And he recommended I come to Adrenaline Sports and Fitness. So I've been here since 2013, I believe, 14, 15, 16, 17. Must have been 2012. And I've been here on average 2 to 3 days a week since that time. My preparation for running a marathon is not all that scientific. I probably could do better at it, but I simply follow a simple formula of running at least the 20 miles, 20 to 24 miles a month before the marathon. And from that date, 30 days out from the marathon, I back up. So my training begins usually 3 to 4 months before the marathon. I start around the 8-mile mark, the 6 to 8 mile sort of baseline running. And then in the middle of the week, I'll try to get a couple of shorter runs in, 2 to 3 miles. That's really because of time constraints. But then Saturday or Sunday, I'll try to do one long run. So every Saturday, I'll either add 1 or 2 miles every week leading up to the marathon, so that by the time I'm 30 days out from the marathon, I'm somewhere around the 20 to 24 mile mark. And that's just a simple formula as I prepare to run a marathon. Now, I'm only doing one marathon now a year. I used to try to do 2 a year, the Flying Pig Marathon and the Air Force Marathon, but now I'm just doing the Air Force Marathon in the fall every year. So I've already started running. It's June or July 2017. I ran 8 miles last Saturday. Next Saturday I'll run 10 miles, and I'll add a mile or 2 every week leading up to the marathon. And then a month before, I'll taper down. So once I hit 24 miles, then I'll actually start backing it down. I'll run 15, then I'll run 5, and maybe just a couple a week before, just to keep my legs moving. And that's how I prepare for a marathon. Again, I'm not going at it to win. I'm just going at it to keep moving. I enjoy running. I like the feeling of accomplishment. I like feeling that I'm a part of a bigger team, and it's fun to do. So I keep it simple, I slow, and I just keep moving. A typical day for me begins about 5:30 in the morning when I get up. I get up and I try to prepare for work, take a shower, get dressed. I have about a 60 to 65 minute commute one way every day. So I leave usually 6:15 in the morning to get to work by 7:15 and get checked in at my desk by 7:30. So I have to be out of the house by 6:30 in the morning, give or take, depending on the day of the week. From a fitness standpoint, that actually begins when I get home the night before from working out. As I'm unpacking my gym bag with all my sweaty clothes that I've just worked out in, the first thing I do is repack my gym bag, make sure I've got clean socks and clean shirts and clean shorts and towels, anything I might need for the next day. I put it in the bag right there, put the tennis shoes in the bag, and carry the bag to the kitchen, and absolutely when dinner's over, it's sitting in the middle of the kitchen table. Or sometime I'll actually take it out and just put it in the car. So I've got that packed and ready to go the night before, and it's usually in the car or on the kitchen table when I get up in the morning. So when I'm leaving the house at 6:30, I grab the bag and everything that I've packed in it and throw it in the back of the car, and of course it's there for the day. I get off work usually 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon, and I make the 60 to 65 minute commute back home. And I just make it a part of my schedule that the first place I come to is Adrenaline Sports and Fitness. I don't go home. I've learned the hard way that if I get home and I sit down, I get tired, I start watching television, or I get lazy, and then I start thinking of all the reasons why I ought to stay home tonight. So instead of going home, I just come straight to Adrenaline and get ready to exercise. So the work day is an 8-hour work day in most cases. I have a desk, I sit in the cubicle, and so it's very hard sometimes to just stay physically active. But I like coming to Adrenaline because Adrenaline compensates for all that in a maximum kind of way. And it's probably not different than too many people, but I found that the key to working out is being prepared and making the commitment to make it happen. One is nutrition. That's always been my biggest struggle. I married a girl from North Carolina that likes to cook, and that has always been the struggle on our house. So we have to really work hard at planning meals out. I generally take a very low-calorie meal to work every day. I'm someone that likes just eating plain tuna. I eat a lot of tuna, probably 5 days a week. I'll eat tuna and a few crackers, fruit, snacks, something along those lines. Celery. I enjoy that, so that's been a staple for mine for many years. The evening meal can always be a struggle, but we're very careful to try to plan out things that's not carb loaded or too much sugar. But I have to admit that that's a battle I don't always win, and sometimes I lose frequently. But I am struggling and learning with my nutrition at the same time. Another thought as I think about my fitness is the struggle I have with my knees. I've had 4 knee surgeries, 2 on each of my knees, and over the years I've just learned to keep pressing through that. I don't want it to ever stop me from doing the things I want to do. So I know eventually down the road in my life I'm probably going to have knee replacement surgery. And I can't do much more damage than I've already done to my knees, and that's from 30 years of being in the military. Actually, I've got 33 years of military service, and probably most of that was done when I was much younger in the Marine Corps. And I've just learned to push through it. I take ibuprofen or Tylenol as I need it. I've had the surgeries, but I've just sort of made a commitment to myself. I'm not going to let it slow me down. I'm not going to let it stop me from working out. I'm not going to become someone that sits on the couch all day or walks around bent over or limping or complaining about all the medical problems I have. I just don't like that, and so I'm going to keep pushing forward. I love coming to Adrenaline Sports and Fitness. I wasn't sure at first. I wasn't sure I could keep up with these high-tempo kind of workouts, but I've just made it my mission and my purpose that I'm going to push through them no matter what. No matter how long it takes me. If I can finish in an hour, I do. If it takes me an hour and a half, I'll finish an hour and a half, but I'm not stopping. So I just believe that if you make a commitment to yourself to do the exercises the best you can, work hard, and keep driving forward, you'll finish. And over time, it has a big payoff. And I've kind of reached some of that payoff. Now, the payoff is different for everybody. For some people, it's the way they look or walk, or it's a certain size or a certain performance. Some run faster, jump higher, lift more. At 54 years of age, my payoff is that I'm in the game. And I'm working out with 19-year-olds. And I'm working out with 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds. Or I'm working out with some kids that think, why are you here? I'm here because I'm committed. And I'd give you this last bit of advice. Somebody said this a long time ago, and it's sort of something I've put to memory and I tell myself frequently. Never trade what you want most for what you want now. Keep the big goal in mind. Always think of the big picture. Don't accept the little things, or don't fall for the little things. Don't fall for the donuts or the ice cream. Think of the big picture. What you want most is what's most important, not what you want now.